Okay, hopefully this camera is the best of them all. I don't know if you've noticed, but in my latest videos I've been changing cameras every single time I make a new video. This is my next project. Obviously, in the center here we've got a Recon Mark II. And you'll notice the orange ModWorks boxes and people go, oh my god, orange ModWorks. Well, you know, in my experience, orange ModWorks does some pretty good stuff with the drop-in kits. They've got the metal trigger, upgraded springs, reinforced bolt sled, metal catch, new plunger, etc., etc. So, you know, I'm pretty okay with orange ModWorks for their drop-in stuff. Moving on over here to the front, we got a GavinFuzzy pump grip kit, which comes with the printed grip itself, the bars, and all the hardware you need. Love Gavin, you should go check him out. Also, we've got this 9/16 inch brass. I'm going to be leaving out the breech part of the orange ModWorks kit, and I'm going to be doing it in brass. And this will actually be my first brassing attempt, so wish me luck on that. For the barrel, I'm going to have a long strike just because it looks a lot better than a Recon or Retaliator in my opinion. And then on the back here, unfortunately, that is a painted, I'm going to have a lot of sanding, a painted Raider stock. I love the Raider stocks, they look really cool, but this one came to me in olive drab green. And if you can see up on the top here, my paint is not going to be olive drab. We're going with Krylon Cover Max White Primer. After that is Rustoleum Metallic Blue, which has actual blue silverish specks in it, and I really like that color. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down my base coat, so it's going to be all white, and then this is going to be splattered. So everything you see on the blaster here will be orange. Well, everything you see on the blaster here that is orange will stay orange, with the exception of this kind of yellowish orange. I don't like that at all. But everything else is going to be white with a splatter effect, heavy on the front and dispersing to the back. And then we're going to go with Krylon Max Clear Gloss as a clear coat on the top. And yeah, I can't wait to get started. Let's see how this turns out. First off is sanding the stock. So I'm going to disassemble it and we'll get to it. .150 grit sandpaper, roughing up the paint that was already on here. And now I'm going to disassemble the blaster to prep it for paint. So here's the blaster disassembled. There's the halves of the slide and the halves of the blaster itself. What I'm going to be doing is masking off this gray area so that it stays gray. And as I assemble, I'm going to paint that all white with the primer and then metallic blue. That is the wrong side. Metallic blue. And it's going to go all the way back like this, so you'll still have a top rail, get this cool metallic blue box going on, and you'll still be able to open up your jam door. I don't know how many other people paint in their garages like this, hanging stuff up instead of doing it on, say, a sheet of cardboard, but, you know, I really don't care, because this is how I learned to do it, and this is how I'm good at doing it. So, Krylon white primer to the max, I guess. I'm going to put this on probably 2 coats because it is going to be a layer of paint that is going to be showing where the blue speckle isn't. So here it goes. Well, the sun may have given up on me, but I haven't given up on painting. So, I'm going to be using the Rustoleum Metallic Blue Brilliant Metal Finish paint. Nice and sparkly, I like this color. And off camera I forgot to cut out the notch to allow my pump grip to slide, because I still want to use this slide, you know, that came with the Modulus Mk II, to mount things onto the top rail, mostly optics, because I actually do use them because I'm a scrub. So I had to cut this out, but I did get a little bit of scuffing because I cut it after I base coated it. So don't do that. Plan ahead. But here we go. I decided to go ahead and paint the stock bit, at least the actual connector part, also the same, not move that around that side, so this should be quick. Don't want to get down into that hole too much, but I do want to make sure the edges are covered well, and covered they are. Alright, so splatter effects. Now, I'm not sure how other people do it, and I might not be doing it quote-unquote correctly, but you're here to see what I do, and this is how I do. So watch and learn, I guess. First, you know, obviously you start with your paint. This is that same metallic blue. It really splatters very well. I really enjoy it. And then some screen. This is just, you know, something you'd get. This comes to me on a roll. I don't know how much on a roll. It's about 24 inches wide. And yeah, it's just looks like a screen door mesh. So basically what I do is I pick an area of the screen to use, which will be, you know, fairly good size. And you just got to spray on it until it starts to get these little bubbles in it. See those? Now, when you spray, you know, I'm going to make the area a little wider first, but when you spray, you're going to spray onto those bubbles, and essentially what happens is the paint kind of makes a pocket on that area of the screen, and then it drips, and that drip is what creates the splatter paint effect. Ah, there we go. See that? That's a good area. So now I'm going to demonstrate on this piece of white paper kind of what I'm going to do with the blaster, which is heavy at the front and then dispersing almost nothing at the back. This is also good practice for me. You'll notice at the end there, it started to get real caked up, and then when I sprayed close to get through it, it created those giant splats, and that's what I want to try to avoid by keeping the paint flowing in one smaller area. I get these smaller specks down here. So if you're following along at home, do not let it pull up like that. And in general, the higher up you are, the bigger the splats, and the lower you are, the smaller but more dense the splats. So you want to be careful and kind of, you know, get a good medium. And this area is no longer usable really. I'd move on to one of these 2 other areas, but that's just about how I'm going to be doing this. Right, here on my parts, we've got the barrel kind of outer, I'll put on cheek pieces, and the actual black stuff, and the construction is one day splatter. So we can two parts, and that area, that's like yellow, it's like a slide, so I see the point, continuing on part of it, so yeah, we know. You can't really redo this, but that's been quick. Been quick, that's why practice is key. So I'm off camera, priming again, like right, so there's a certain area, then I'm gonna have to, we're gonna start from the back actually, the light cycles, even though it kind of collaborates on the screen, you'll be able to get the big box in front of you. Here we go. Take a step back and look at it. Same thing back there. We're like nothing on the ground now. That's what I can. So take the bottom tip. And then slowly changes. What's the front? It's a very winter icy thing. Which this stuff here had a larger splatter on the flag. The splatter was quick, but that's what I'm actually going to do a little more on the front of the last body. So you can see way down about the now. Alright, got it. Okay, take the blue, bring it down together. I do. And, yep, let it dry. And the big blobs really left and dry because they have texture from the three-dimensional, thick, heavy blobs. On the outside of the donut. So you know, I've been looking a lot on the internet since this is my first brass job, and I kind of understand it. Usually they keep this area here and keep that area there. They cut it in half and they change the length, and that really confused me. So I figured, why not just, you know, cut out most of it, right, all that area, and then leave that little ridge there. Drop the brass and sand it down in the front so it sits. So you know, there's not much of a ramp to get up on. So that's what I intend to do. I'll Dremel that area out, keeping the loading area and the part that's, I'm going to remove the air restrictor, of course, but the gasket here, and I'm going to replace that area there with brass, and that should give me a pretty good seal and pretty good performance with minimum effort. So I'm going to, if this doesn't already have a name, call this the cutaway breech. Basically it's just, you know, 9/16 inch brass. Actually it's a little thicker in the inner diameter than 9/16 inch. Up here at the top is ground down really well to sit perfectly flush. It's about razor sharp with the plastic here. It, you know, dips down. The sides obviously bow in a bit, but I've ground those down as well, and I'm about to go sanding. And that hole right there was me grinding a bit too much, but luckily my glue is gap filling, so I'll hit that again with another dose and then sand all that down. But so far this looks pretty good. Alright, finished the breech. Looks really good. It's really smooth on all sides. Where it does have to, you know, get wider and narrower, there's a gradient with the glue and the material. And yeah, it works. I've put it inside the plunger tube and it slides fine. So now I'm going to start assembling everything with Orange ModWorks internals. Before I go spray painting this with a clear coat, I just want to make sure that this slide is in the right position and that it's all glued on. So the slide is installed there on both sides, and I'm just going to take my usual cyanoacrylate and accelerator and glue around the edges, and then when I assemble the final product it'll have the two screws going through there, and it'll still be able to separate with both halves of the shell. I'm not going to glue the two parts of the slide together. Alright, so after coaxing the pin out, I separated the breech, or the bolt and the bolt sled, whatever. So that came out, and the cutaway lazy butt breech is going in, just like so. Fits perfectly, no issues. This is some kind of reinforced plastic, but it's not ABS. Probably polycarbonate or something, I don't know. And that bolt is a tighter seal with a better O-ring. Upgrades all around the board. Let's see how the pin goes back in. Alright, I did the trimming on the other side of the shell. That thing was not required to take out. And now I'm going to start putting it back together. Right, do that. Let's test prime it. It caught well. Let me find a dart within sitting around distance. There's one. Loaded into the reach well. Pushing it forward. Here's the jam door. And it fired. Alright. We're well on our way now. And there's the other screwdriver. Sorry about that video cutout, but there's the assembled barrel. Just painted long strike barrel. Just for kicks so far. Ooh, I don't even know if this will fit in the frame. That looks pretty cool. Now I'm going to assemble the stock. Oh, that feels nice. Ah, that is just a lovely feeling. Single dart here. I can feel it through the floor when the dart hits. That's beautiful. It's 1 a.m. so I'm going to put this away and do a walk around tomorrow. Hi everybody, this is my finished Modulus Recon Mk II. I almost feel like calling it a Recon Mk III. It's obviously, you know, the externals of it. It's got a pump grip kit, that's from GavinFuzzy. It's got a Raider stock and a long strike barrel, which I think is a really cool looking combination, especially on this handguard chip that the Recon has going on. And then, you know, I just tossed on a 10-round magazine for the looks of it. Paint job is Krylon white primer and Rustoleum metallic blue with a Krylon clear acrylic gloss finish. I've left the slide glued on but slid back so you can attach top optics and still have access to the jam door. Other than that, cosmetically that's about it. Going on to the internals, obviously the pump grip kit is attached into the bolt sled. The bolt sled and the plunger head and the trigger and catch and associated springs are Orange Modworks on the inside, and I just like them because they've got decent drop-in kits. It's got a 5 kilogram Orange Modworks spring. Feel free to upgrade that later, you know, to 7 or even 8. Should be able to take it. And yeah, it's shooting pretty hard. It's what Nerf advertises their Elite Blasters should be getting. And I think that's fair because this long barrel length, obviously, you know, the dart bounces around in it and slows it down. Flat shots are reaching somewhere between 55 and 70 feet, and an arc shot will hit as far as 85 feet in the test that I've done out here. So let's go ahead and shoot it. But before we do any firing tests, I also forgot to mention that the jam door is operational, and in it you can see the brassing that I've done. Now I'm not sure if this is actually any kind of pre-made or if it's been done by anyone else, but basically it's a section of brass between the stock receiver end and the stock end that's got the gasket on it that goes into the plunger tube. And I left a strip of the original plunger plastic, or the original bolt plastic, to keep the length and overall shape and stability of the breech itself. So it does have a section of brass in there. It's about 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 long, and it does provide some pretty good pops, I think. Now onto the actual shooting. It's a 10-round banana magazine that came with the demolisher. Just making sure I'm not going to dry fire it at the end. And this is an 18-round drum that came with the original Alpha Trooper. I don't know if a whole lot of people know this, but 18-round drums can actually be stuffed to 20 and still work just fine. So this has 20 shots in it. I'm going to fire 10 of them. And now for the other 10 and the 18, I'm actually going to fire this left-handed so my arm's not covering up any of the pump grip here. There we go. And now for ranges, you can see where, for the most part, that was my back foot firing here off the concrete of my driveway into my backyard. There's a shed over there on that side of the yard, and I have previously measured that to be 72 feet. And I counted my strides, and it takes 36 strides to get there. So each of my steps is 2 feet. So let's go dart hunting, find out how far we actually shot. 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42 feet. There's the first dart I found, and all of these are brand new out of package FVJs. Where were we? 42, 44, 46, 38, 50, 52, 54. Here's two more. 56, 58, 60, 62, 64, 66, 68, and here's, geez, probably about 8 of them at 68 feet. $70, $72, there's that shed. And there's a dart right there. 74, 76. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at 76. There's another one over there. 78, 80, 82. 3 darts at 82 feet. 84, 86. Got 1 dart at 86 feet. And yep, I think that's it. I'm not seeing any more. 86 feet, guys. Alright, all the way up there where the side of the house starts.